Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to our YouTube channel. We are so excited that you are here. We have Michael Bredhauer with us, as usual, the myth that you guys know him by. He loves calling himself that. Now I called him
myself
it one time, and now he loves saying it.
Mm-hmm.
And we have our special guest, the Mr. Private Money Man himself, Dan Zatovsky. Dan, how you doing, buddy?
Great. How are you? Well, I want to know if you're the myth, who's the legend, right?
Right there.
You must be a legend.
That way.
No, I'm not a legend.
We're doing good though. Thanks for having me on. I've been looking forward to this.
Yeah, no, we're excited. And before we hop into everything, I just want to make sure everybody that's on with us, I know we have just a small amount right now on, but I'm sure it's going to pick up here. Everybody that can, if you can, go ahead. I'm going to put this up there. Give us a thumbs up if you could hear us okay. Also, too, if you haven't become a channel subscriber, make sure you become a channel subscriber as well. So make sure you let us know where you're at as well. Today, I'll show you guys. It's nice and rainy outside. I think people could see that. Nope. Yeah, there. Whoop.
Really?
A little bit.
But yeah, it's been raining off and on today. Let's see here. Do we have some of our? Oh, we've got Trey. How's it going?
Hey, Trey.
Looking forward to this one. Paul, what's up, Paul? Paul from Florida. Cool. So we got some folks that are on with us right now. I'm sure the numbers will pick up as we go. But this is a big topic, especially for right now, Dan. You've been in this business for a really long time, and we've been seeing each other's posts, and we communicate on Facebook with each other. And here, hold on, we got John. Hey, what's up, John?
Hey, John.
And you saw the market cycle in 2000, and this one, a lot of us real estate guys are like, yeah, we're due for something sometime soon. Right. Something's going to happen. Either we get a correction with a presidential election, or Trump stays until 2024, and then we have a correction at that time. But nobody really saw this happening. So with this all being said, that's why I wanted to bring you on here, because I believe back like in 2008, when folks had money, it was you could do a lot when you had access to the capital, because banks weren't doing any lending. So Dan, why don't you kind of just let folks know like a little bit about yourself, and let's hop into this thing. We got some folks that are starting to come on, and let's dive into it.
Well, let's go through. I think you said it right. You're at the perfect time, and I'll get into a little bit who I am and where I came from, but you got it right. I don't think this has anything to do with the economy that we were looking at. I think there's still, the economy is still underlying strong. We're still looking at that's going to happen. The economy will fix itself over time, and that's economic situations. What's happening now is a pandemic situation, right? So right now, people aren't as nervous as, if you can imagine, they're not as nervous yet. All right, houses are still going. Tenants are still renting. Things are still happening right now, so it's not as bad. But I'm in this business now 29 years. Did everything from wholesaling, fix and flipping, private lending, bought and sold, commercial buildings, had a pretty large commercial multifamily portfolio, bought and sold hotels, did land option deals. So I've been involved in a lot, couple syndications. So, and back in about 2008 and 9, I really, I was flipping for years. I was flipping anywhere from 40 to 50 properties minimum a year, netting about $50,000 to $80,000 per property. So I was very successful 7-figure flipper, but it was so transactional that it caused a lot of problems in my life. It wasn't really, it didn't fit my vision. My vision is really about passive income. I want to do what I want. I want to live my lifestyle by design. And that's even why, like, my book is called Passive to Prosperous. It's living that prosperous life of passive income. So since 2008-9, I really focused on really creating passive income as a note investor, as rental properties, seller financing. Everything I've done has really been based around passive income. But back then, I still remember like it was yesterday. I literally almost lost everything. Why? It's because in 2008, I still remember between 2008 and 9, I had 8 properties that were rehab. They were ready to close. They were in escrow. Banks pulled out just like they did today. All 8 of those deals didn't close. I didn't finish those 8 deals out until 2013. I was losing $4,000 a month total, plus opportunity costs. We estimated at about $2 million.
Oh,
3 properties ready to close. I was in contract. I had $5,000 hard money down on those. No contingencies. Hard money lenders pulled out on me on those. I lost that money. Opportunity cost them there too. I swore in 2009. I remember talking to my wife. I said, I'll never, ever let a hard money lender or bank control my business ever again. And at that time, I put my head down and I figured out what I needed to do. And since then, I've raised over $30 million and used it in over $200 million of velocity. So not only have I done it myself, but I taught this nationwide. I was brought around to RIAs. I was ranked as one of the top real estate investor coaches on raising private money. We have an online training class on it. And I take on very few one-on-one students to do it, but it's not hard to do. The problem is people, they don't want to put the work in. If you put the work in, you really could raise a lot of money. And that's why I'm telling people we put everything else aside 2 months ago. And we said, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to make sure we teach everybody how to raise private money. And this is 2009 all over again right now. And I remember in 2012 going to the RIAs and speaking at events back then, all I would hear is, oh, I wish it was 2008 and 9 again. I wish it was that again. Right. Freaking 2008 and 9 right now, today. If you don't raise private money, I spoke to asset managers. Every day I'm on the phone with investors or asset managers at the banks because that's where I buy a lot from. They're telling me what's to come. They're saying third and fourth quarter is going to be good. But in 2021, they're hitting me up now saying, can you raise enough funds for the multifamily deals we're going to be coming to the table with? We're looking at about 50 to 60 cents on the dollar for multifamily deals. Whoa. And I'm not even a multifamily guy. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to carve those off to the multifamily guys now, let them do their value add. But if you don't have private money, you're going to be in my boat in 2009 where I could have bought stuff at 20, 30 cents on the dollar. I was equity rich and cash poor. And don't let that happen to you. That's why this is so important. I'm so passionate about this because this changed my life back then. And people that got in the industry in the last 1, 2, 3 years, they didn't understand this. And when I used to talk about private money and how important it was, right, they looked at me like, yeah, it's easier to just go to hard money lenders. It is, but how's that working for you right now? Yeah. Okay. And I have some friends that are hard money lenders, right? And I know that, and they lend, but they still control your business. You don't own your business. You're subject to a hard money lender saying, you got to put more money down. You got to have 12 months reserves with us for us to fund the deal. So why wouldn't you go out and learn how to raise private money the right way right now? If you do it the right way, your business will explode. It's going to be a bloodbath of properties coming out in the third or fourth quarter, but even worse in 2021, because we haven't even seen the economy adjust yet. If they start to keep doing these stimulus plans, if businesses don't open back up, there's businesses being bought, commercial buildings being bought up, multifamilies being bought up. People have no idea what's happening. I've been through 2 market cycles already. This is not a third. And every 10 years, you got to expect it again. But so you need to do it now. I mean, if you don't raise private money, you probably should get out of the business. I'll be honest with you. I mean, that's how powerful I feel about it.
No, I hear you. And that's a great point that you bring up.
Bloodbath is a great word, is it, to use? It is.
No, absolutely. And I'm glad because I definitely think private money is huge, especially right now. Because one of the things that we're seeing too is nothing's really opened up yet with landlords being able to go and do their evictions, banks being able to file mortgage foreclosure judgments. None of that has really come yet to full circle. And we're not going to see that stuff yet until stuff actually reopens. So I wanted to get you on here. I think the timing is perfect because we could talk about this, why private money in today's market is really, really important. You kind of alluded to it. You had we all had some stuff happen to us back in 2008, 2009. Yeah. So why would you think private money, because I know you do things differently with your private money than some folks do, but why do you think it's so important? I know we kind of talked about it, but if you could maybe go a little bit more into it, why do you think it's so important in today's market? Because
there's so many deals you're going to be able to get that won't work for a hard money lender or won't work for a bank, even if they come through. Like I buy a lot of assets from the banks. I buy non-performing notes from the bank, right? So a lot of those non-performing notes, my workout period could take 1 to 2 years. But when I'm buying them in a pool, I'm buying a large pool of assets at such a discount that you can't do that if you have hard money. So you're losing out on all those aspects, right? So I create my own seller financing. I take these non-performing assets and I either get them to reperform or I get them foreclosed. I do deed and lose. I'll do foreclosures. I take these properties, I rehab them, I get it rented, I sell them to investors that want to build a rental portfolio, and I sell them for either cash or seller financing. So I create my own notes. Then I could do collateral assignments against those notes. I could sell partials against those notes. I have a plethora of things I can do with those notes as a strategy. Whereas hard money lending, you're paying that back in 6 to 12 months. You're paying 10 to 14%, 2 to 4 points, right? I'm borrowing money right now at 6, 7% simple interest for 3 to 5 years. I mean, if the banks don't refi me out, I'm okay. My loans are I'm positive cash flow on everything I do, so I don't even need to refi out. Okay, and I'm dealing with investors, I should say lenders, that don't need their money today. Most of them are self-directed IRAs, solo 401ks, Coverdell's, health savings accounts. Most of them can't even touch their money till they're 59 and a half. So when they start lending in their 30s and 40s, I have the money for 20, 30 years from them. Yeah. I mean, not I'm holding it, I'm paying it back, and then they want their money back in play. So it allows you to – private money is this. You control your deals. I always talk about private money being your program. It's your program. You do how you want, what you want with it. Okay, you protect your lenders 100%, but you control the program. They're not controlling you. If they don't fit into your program, you don't work with them. Okay, it allows you to get into so many more deals that might not make sense at 10 to 14%, 2 to 4 points, and be out. And you got to worry right now. If you do a fix and flip, if this market tanks, I saw it happen in 2008 and 9. I saw people lose everything. Everything. I'm talking about everything. People that run RIAs going bankrupt. I saw everything. And if you have private money at 6, 7, 8, even 9, 10% interest only, you're going to be okay. The banks will come back. They're always going to come back. It's just they'll come back a little bit skittish. They'll come back with more tougher terms. But they'll come back. So if I have money for 3 to 5 years, which our investors don't even want us to pay them, the premium, the principal back, they like the passive income. So as long as you look out for your investors, your lenders, you're always going to be okay.
And I love where you're getting your deals from, because some of our folks that are listening right here, they might be some of our folks that have gotten into direct deal profits. We teach folks how to get and find folks that are at the banks, at the hedge funds, at the credit unions that can pick up note deals, and eventually the non-performing notes, and also some performing. But we do that as well. So I'm glad you brought that up, because some folks are, they give up after a little bit, because it's not super easy getting in there with the asset managers. You've got to be persistent. You've got to say the right things. And when you do, it's not just me preaching this. You've got Dan that's been doing this for nearly 30 years. And the deals that you could get from these banks for non-performing notes, those could be huge discounts, and you can make a substantial return on money. So I'm glad you brought that up, Dan. I didn't want to touch too much on it, but
I didn't know you were showing that. I love that you're showing that, because a lot of people hit me up and they ask me, how do I deal with assets? How do I get my asset managers? And it's like anything else. You got to build a relationship with them.
Yeah.
Stay consistent.
I stumbled upon that back in, I think, like 09, 2010. I was ready to throw it in for getting deals directly from the banks, and lo and behold, a lot of them are on LinkedIn, and that's how I got direct contact information. Exactly.
And I show people, my students, I've showed them how to do that. I mean, I think if you type in special asset manager on LinkedIn, there's like 358,000 special. Yeah. Now, they don't all deal with non-performing notes. You got to go through them. But I also tell people, you got to deal with the local market. The other thing you can do is build a relationship, just like you do with your private lenders, and you got to do what you say you're going to do. That's the business as a whole. So many people out here, they talk about what they want, give them a deal, and they don't. How many times have you heard people, you hand them exactly what they want, then you don't hear from them, and then they want to be taken serious. So it's the same thing with lenders, private lenders. You can't just, when you have a deal, call the private lender up. You have to stay in consistent communication with them, right? You have to build a rapport with them. And you got, we've in the last 2 months, we've talked to every private lender we have, not only once, maybe some of them 2-3 times, to see how they're doing, let them know what we're doing, let them know we're still looking, let them know how we're protecting their money. And they're all great. Some of them don't have money right now. Some of them are out. Some of them are not. But they're all happy. They're all good. They're ready to go. So if we find more deals, we have money behind us. And that's what makes us a little bit different than most.
Well, you have that confidence in you too when you're doing these deals, besides just having a wholesale strategy as well. So that helps out too when you could add other avenues to just put in wholesaling. You know, wholesale is good for a certain period of time, but then, you know, you've got to be able to start, you know, scaling up your business and actually having a business, not just a transactional business. What were you going to say, Mike?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just going to say, we talk about all the time about creating value, and like Dan's talking about building a relationship and building rapport, just being a valuable person in that person's life, whether it's just connecting with them and, yeah, how you doing? Checking in. Here's some information in case you didn't know about it, whatever. It doesn't always have to be a deal. It's just, hey, I'm here. What's up?
Exactly. Even with your tenants or even with your seller finance notes. I mean, on all sides of it, you want to just communicate with people. If you communicate, even if you're borrowing money from a private lender, if you can't pay them back for whatever reason, communicate with them. Most of them are going to be okay as long as you communicate what you're doing. If you go dark, the problem is people put their head in the sand when they can't pay, and they go dark. And when you go dark, that's when the problem happens. You know, it's easy to pay a private lender back when things are good. Let's see how you do when things aren't so good. And that's where 2009, we saw a ton of people, Jason, if you remember, you saw a ton of people leave this industry because they weren't set up the right way, right? You have to be set up in this industry with reserves, with protection plans in place, because you always want, if you don't pay private lender back, you're done. I mean, it's hard enough to get them. You don't take care of an asset manager. You don't close on a deal that you told them you're going to close on. And now his or her problem, you're done. You know, and that's what I see. That's the biggest issues I see with people out there in this business. But
no, I like it. No, we're touching on some great points here. And for folks, just so you guys know, we are recording this, so it's going to be live on the YouTube channel once we're done. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them below. You know, we're live right now, but if you're listening to this as a recording, we obviously can't answer your questions. Then you could drop the comment below still, and I'll make sure to get you answered later for your question. But make sure you drop a comment. We're on here live with Dan, and you know, he's a wealth of knowledge, and you know, if he could answer any types of your guys' questions, you know, it's going to help you and your business out. So yeah, go ahead, type them in. So this is probably the $1 billion question. I want to say $1 billion because you could potentially raise some big capital. But Dan, where are you? Like, say for instance, a lot of our folks that are listening as subscribers, they're, you know, possibly in that wholesaling phase. That's all they're really focused on right now. Where would you recommend that they find some of their private money lenders at?
Oh, great question, because that's one of the main things I teach out there. I'm not going to sit here and give them everything because I'll blow them with. I don't want to I want them to take action on something, right? So I rather give them one or two things to take action on today. I tell people here's the main thing: you can go get out of the real estate investments. Stay out of, I call them murky waters. Stop hanging out with investors where everybody wants to make 15, 20, 30% of their money. Those are not private lenders. That's not where you can do it. Figure out what your hobbies are. Like for me, I'm into boating, obviously. I'm into wine. I'm into cigars. So I joined those clubs. There's meetup groups. You can join those. Have your elevator pitch down. Like I have my elevator pitch, and every time I ask somebody their elevator pitch, they don't have it. I ask them what they do. They're bored. They bore me. Or they tell me they're a real estate investor. So just you can use mine. Mine is, you know, my name's Dan Zatowski. I raise capital to purchase distressed debt, paying better than average returns to my investors. Yours might be, I'm Dan Zatowski. I've raised capital to buy and fix and flip properties, paying better than average return to my investors. And I shut up and I let them ask me questions. That's one way. The other way is very easy. You could do things like, if you don't have those people around, you don't want to go to meetups, every county has a chamber of commerce. And I teach this to my students, right? Go in your chamber of commerce, look at the directory, find the people in that directory, reach out to them, put together a private lending presentation event. Okay. And now it's on Zoom. I had one of my students just do it. He closed on 3 out of 4 chiropractors that he reached out to.
Wow.
Yeah. That was Michael Parks. He crushed it. People are raising millions of dollars doing it. That's one way. We find the credit type investors. We send them wedding style invitations to an event. We keep it at 4 to 8 investors at a time. We don't do more than 8. That's our first event. We don't ever ask for money. We keep a 30 to 45 day span and 3 meetings with people because we want to keep that SEC regulations and guidelines. Right. And we don't want to look too hungry to them. I guess the best thing to say is, right. So on our first event, we do a presentation, a simple 15 to 20-minute PowerPoint presentation about who we are, what we do, what market we do it in, a couple of deals we have, who's on our team, and how we're going to protect them. We don't even talk about returns, how we're going to protect them, what legal documentation we're going to give them, how we're going to protect them. Okay, then we give them something. I even have it right here, right? It's in my book. I keep it in my book because I hand this book out at every investor event, right? So they get this and they get this. This is like a question and answer brochure for private lenders, right?
Oh, wow.
So it looks a little bit more professional when people slapping crap against the wall right now, right? And say, hey, can you fund my deal, $150,000? They don't do any due diligence. They don't do anything. So we put a private lending presentation together. We hand it to them with a book, with my brochure, my private lending brochure, right? So they get this. There's no questions asked that I'm a professional and I can answer all the questions. And that brochure is a frequently asked question. So before they ever ask me those questions, it has the answers in there. How am I protecting their money? What's my minimum? What happens if I die? What if I don't pay them back? What kind of returns do they get? So on and so forth. There's a ton of questions in there. So that's what we do. And then we follow up on a one-on-one meeting with them after we have a presentation. We find out what their risk level is, how much money they have. Do they need their money monthly, quarterly, annually, at the end of the deal? How do they want their money? And where their money is and how much they're ready to work with. And what's their risk level? What happens when we lose your money? We always ask that question. We look at their face. We want to see their face. Because we don't want to take somebody's last $50, $70, $100,000 and God forbid we lose their money, because you cannot guarantee anything to anybody. All right, we don't ever guarantee. The only thing we guarantee is that we mitigate the risk the best we possibly could. Yeah. But we can't do anything, guarantee returns, guarantee anything, because one, it's illegal, and two, it's just unethical to do that, right? People should run, not walk. And that's really how we do it. And we don't, and then once we know what they want, then the third time we meet with them, usually 30 to 45 days, we present them the deal that fits their needs. And that's really, it's not hard, guys. It's just people don't want to do the work. They don't want to put together a private lending presentation. They don't want to do a simple PowerPoint. They don't want to do a bio about who they are, even like a company bio. Who are you? You should be able to send that to me. Who are you? What you do? You should be able to market to me about content, not just ask for money. Like right now, there's so much you can do. Think about all the business owners that you either do or don't know. And if you don't know, I just told you, go to the Chamber of Commerce in your local area, type it in and look member directory. Reach out to them, send them an email. Send them a piece of mail and said, hey, the SBA is doing EIDL. I'm going to bring my accountant on to talk about this. If you want free information, jump on my Zoom call and I'll have free information. So you're providing value to them. You'll become the expert. Or talk about how they could do solo 401ks. Talk about how they could pay their kids. Okay, when you become the expert to them, who do you think, now they set up an account, a Coverdell account for their kids, who do you think they're going to invest that money with once they set it up? That's the game changer, guys. You got to bring value. I always call it like a boxing match, right? Even when I sell my trainings, right? My online trainings, when I sell, I don't go online and sell. It's content, uppercut. The uppercut is the sale. So I always say it's a boxing match. Jab, uppercut, and that's how you do it with private lenders. That's how you do it with asset managers. I always give to get. Bring value to get something in return. But everyone has that with them. I call it the with them. The what's in it for me attitude.
No, it's crazy.
I get it on Facebook, right? A messenger. If I open my messenger and there's at least 10 to 20 minimum messages a day, it seems like every morning I wake up to these messages, and every single one of them is what I could do for them. Not one person wants to bring value to me. Every single one is what I can do for them. So it's just the mentality of this. But you probably get it. I'm sure you get it a ton.
Well, dude, LinkedIn has gotten really bad with the spam stuff. I show Mike all the time. Somebody sent me something the other day that said hi first name, comma. I'm like, what in the world? I'm like, what are you? Hi first name? It's like
holders, buddy.
Dude, I get that. I get the private money lender ones that want the upfront fees. It's just like, it's like, go away. I didn't ask for you to do that to me.
The scams.
I don't even like checking my Facebook Messenger sometimes, just because, like you said, Dan, it's just a bunch of, hey, would you just become friends with somebody? And then they've got the 12-page essay on what's going to happen, and just give me my name, number, and all this stuff, and the world's going to open up.
it's funny when you see those messages, when you see the contact request. Well, now I'm at that 5,000 on Facebook, so it's a nightmare. So I always tell people to go to my group because I can't ever accept anybody. But I always think it's funny when I see the guys that are like the personal trainers and they friend request me. Every once in a while, I just, as a test, I tell my wife, I'm like, I'm going to accept this person. Watch, within 24 hours, I'm going to be sold some training on how to get in shape while I'm sitting at home. And it happens every time. It's like, don't have a relationship with me. Don't ask me who I am. Don't ask me anything about me. It's like, hey, I can get, it's just like you throw up at, it's the same, the social media, the whole social media, marketing, nobody learned how to market, right? They just throw up or they post something, right? And they post it in your group to try to suck people out of your group into theirs, or they tag you when you have nothing to do with what they're doing. It's just, people just don't want to take the time. I'm going to tell you this. It's not a quick thing. Every once in a while, even asset managers, Jason, you'll attest to this. You call asset managers every once in a while, one of my students will call an asset manager and they'll hit gold on the first call. It happens.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to put it out there that it happens all the time because it very rarely happens. You got to expect at least 3 to 6 months, 1 to 2 quarters minimum, that you're even going to build some kind. They're even going to take you serious, and that's only if you follow up with them on a weekly basis with an email or a phone call. But people give up. People give up in this industry way too quick. They talk about 3 feet from gold. This is a perfect industry to discuss 3 feet from gold. You work and you get to that point, you quit right before you hit gold.
Right.
And I see it with private lenders, asset managers. I see it with everything.
Same here. Hey, I think we're getting some questions in here.
Oh, yeah, let's answer.
Oh yeah, here, Paul. It's all about bring. I appreciate that, my friend. And I was just gonna say, it's a reoccurring thing that we hear from folks like yourself, Dan. I like surrounding myself with people just like you because the main thing that we all are always saying is creating value for others. Because what you eventually want is going to be able to come back to you, but you got to be able to add some value and just create it. It's there. Talk to somebody. It's pretty simple to do.
Why would a lender give you fund your deal over mine, right? Exactly. And I'm not saying it to impress you, or it's more to, like Mark, my buddy Mark says, to impress upon you. But it's because I'm providing more value. Why would a seller sell me your house over selling you a house?
Right.
There's a trust factor. They trust me more than you. We get deals. We buy houses sometimes direct from a seller at a lower price than you pay because there's a value. We provide a value to them. So think about that. Like, what are you going to do different in your life to get the private loan? There is probably now more than this number, but in the beginning of the year, there was over 12 trillion. I think the number was $12 trillion with a T, sitting in cash in 401ks and IRAs.
Right. I heard.
Think about all the people that are losing their jobs that have 401ks that they could roll over. Think about that. Think about the opportunity you have to help them, not for yourself, to help them because they have to pull their 401k out. They don't know what to do with it.
Right.
Now you can get them into a deal that's going to be somewhat conservative. It's not guaranteed, conservative, where they're going to get better than average returns that they're receiving from their local banks, backed by real estate. And you're going to protect their investment. God forbid you don't pay them back. If you could do that, if you believe enough in yourself that you could do that, you should have no problem raising private money.
Oh yeah.
Just don't go out on social media and ask somebody to fund your deal. That's right.
Well, this is a good one here. And Donald's come to our trainings before. So Dan, I'm going to let you respond to this. He said about the LinkedIn stuff. Well, yeah, I'm just going to let you answer it, Dan.
Real quick question. Just tell them to show you a HUD, Yeah.
Or Dan, have you ever had a private money lender reach out to you through social media and saying, "Hey, I want to lend you money at 6-7% interest rates"?
No, nobody's ever. Even my friends or that I have that are private lenders that I knew like a long time ago, nobody's ever come out there and said, "I want to lend you money at a certain rate." People are like, "I love to see what you're doing. Can we hop on a call? Can we meet in person?" It's any of those things, but nobody's ever come at me and said, "Hey, I got rates at 5." First of all, I'm raising money at 6, 7, 8%. How in the world can I give it out to somebody at 5%? I mean, it's one of those things sometimes, and I don't like to be like this because I don't buy that statement. It's too good to be true. It probably is because, man, I can tell you some deals I've gotten and you'd be blown away. And I always tell people, if I tell you the type of deal I just got and how much money I made, you think I'm lying. So I don't like that comment that looks too good to be true. It probably is. But do your due diligence on everybody. Guys, when you came through this industry, when I came through, didn't even have internet really, right? I didn't have all the social media. I didn't have the ability to reach out to people, all these Facebook groups and all these groups to look into people. But do your due diligence. It's so easy to do your due diligence on anybody right now. It's so easy. Trust. Even when I'm telling you, don't trust me. Trust and verify what I'm telling you. I tell this to all my lenders too. I'm like, if I'm telling you, you could pay your kids up to $12,200 a year if they're 18 years old and younger, tax-free, and your accountant's telling you no, you probably should fire your accountant, but don't even listen to me. Go to the tax code and just do a Google search. How much can I pay my minor child under 18 years old tax-free? Let them tell you, and then research that. Don't listen to me. I'm just telling you what I do. I'm telling you how I paid my kids, telling you how they invest in real estate. I'm telling you how they use that money to invest in real estate, buy rental properties. Those rental properties paid for their college, and they didn't have any student loans. Don't believe me. Do your own research. I'm just opening your eyes to things. And I always tell people, we are nothing more. We are nothing more than we are problem solvers. All right. That's really what we are as real estate investors. We're problem solvers for banks, for potential private lenders, for sellers, for contractors. Right. And we come up with a vision and an idea, and we solve problems. That's really what we do.
Yep. No, I hear you. We got a couple good questions come in here. Trey was asking, can you share some examples of your presentation? Now, is that in your book?
In my book does have some examples of presentation, but I wish I could. In my presentation, it's think about the 5 W's. Who, what, when, where, how, or why. My presentation is really, it's a PowerPoint presentation. It's probably about 15 to 20 minutes. It talks about who I am, where I invest, who's on my team. So I talk about my contractors. I tell them who they are. I tell them who my realtors are. Tell them who my project managers, my property managers, my attorneys, my title company. Okay. Show them no more than 3 examples of prior deals I've done. If you have not done any deals, find a mentor you're going to work with and use them and use their deals. I'm sure, I always tell people this because they come to me and every time I speak at an event, they say, well, I'm new. And I said, let me ask you something right now. If I'm in an event with 200 people here and you bring value, you don't ask for anything. You bring me value. You say, hey, Dan, I got this deal and I got this potential lender. I don't know how to do it. Can you mentor me how to do it? You don't even have to pay me anything. I just want to learn from you. First of all, you could probably even do the deal 50-50 split, right? And I'm sure, Jason, if somebody brought you a deal and you didn't have to go find it, you didn't have to do anything to go find it, find the money just to teach them, you would probably do the deal, right?
Absolutely.
Anything for you, Mike?
Oh, yeah. Come on.
Yeah, so there's 2 mentors right there that you brought value to. You didn't have to pay them because you brought them value. Problem is, don't go to a mentor and ask them to teach you for free. Don't ask them to pick your brain. Listen, I can eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner and coffee for the next year for free if I let everyone pick my brain for free. Pick your brain. I mean, it's so bad. It's so bad to come at somebody that way. I can't even tell you how bad it is.
I don't like that.
Yeah, you just discredit somebody and their expertise and their time, and you're stealing their time, and you value them for free, but you don't value them in paying them. But so that's really, put together a presentation like that. That's really what we're showing is how to do a presentation. Do a bio of yourself. Think about it as like a resume. Why should I work with you? What are you doing? If you're new, you're not. If you're new, you have a mentor. If you don't feel like you have enough info in the area, you must, because why would you invest in that market if you don't know enough about it? So I hope you did your due diligence. A lot of people think they have to know everything. They don't have to know everything. They just got to know a little bit more than the person they're working with. Right. And now with this group, or what you're doing, you're mentoring people. There's a ton of knowledge, and they can use you.
Yeah, it's like when somebody approaches with a deal and they say, because like to that effect, like if you don't have to do any of the work and they're not approaching me, they know we educate, but they're not approaching me for a free education or free from Jason. They're just saying, hey, I got this deal. I talked to such and such. Here's what I got. And I turn around and tell them, yeah, I'd probably want to take a look at a payoff letter or something from the bank. And then they come back the next day or something and say, hey, I got this payoff letter. Would this work? Can we do something together on this? And then I'm like, yeah, well, you're not even asking me like education questions. You're just like, what you're asking, like what a partner would do. Like, hey, I've got this far. Could you help me out? Answer a quick question, not really thinking about it. And now all of a sudden you brought it back. Like you're just taking steps. You're doing it and going out of your way. And you're like, okay, I value your time so much. I'm going to listen to exactly what you said. I'm going to bring it back to you. and okay, what next? You know?
Exactly. And you got to think how powerful having, like I said, we didn't. I don't know how long you've been at it, Mike. You've been at it a while too, but we didn't have this. I wish I had a group like this when I started out. I really do. I didn't have the ability. I had literally 3 events I went to. It was Carlton Sheets, it was Russ Whitney, and Robert Allen on stage, and they sold some CDs, and I bought them back then. I was going to learn it, and that's really all I had. That's all I had in my hands. I didn't have, I didn't have this group here, right? I didn't have RIA groups and meetup groups and every 4,000 new groups on Facebook that you can learn, YouTube pages that you can learn. I mean, you can go on, you can learn all this stuff, but I still say you got to have if you think having a mentor is a cost, your mindset is all screwed up.
Totally.
When people ask me how much does it cost to work with me, I tell them nothing because I probably won't work with you. I look at everything. I spend over 6 figures a year in mentorship, and I look at it as an investment. And it's the best money at anything I spend my money on. My 2 mentors and the events I go to are the best money I spend on myself, right? So I believe, listen, if you want to get in shape, you're going to go to somebody who's ripped up, right? You're not going to go to the fat guy to get in shape. If you want to get your marriage counselor, right? You're not going to go to guys cheating on his wife 4 or 5 times. It's not the best marriage counselor, right?
Probably not.
I like fast tracking, right? I don't have the patience. I want to fast track. So I had to learn on my own in 2009, really, because before 2009, I was begging people for money, and it wasn't good. And I was really just using the easy way out, the hard money lenders back then. But in 2009, I figured out I'm going to do this, and I kept beating myself up, screwing it up, getting it right, screwing it up. Then I got to the point where I just started humming. Every week I was doing my meetings. I was doing 1 in the afternoon and 1 at night, Tuesday at 12 and Wednesday at 7, right in my conference room, every week, nonstop. And I didn't stop. And if people didn't show up, I worked. If they showed up, I did my meeting. It was great. And I was just humming along, and I just kept doing it. I was just in a rhythm. I had a rhythm, and I was going. And it's not easy at first, right? You hit a lot of bruises and bumps. And I love seeing people's first, when they go through a mentorship, right? I love seeing their first event because they're so worried in their first event. They're stumbling. And I remember it brings back memories of humble beginnings for myself. I love those. I love to be humbled back to the beginning, right? And I always say, don't try to do what we're doing, right? Because you got to be yourself. You don't need to raise as much money as we've raised. Most people that raise private money are really fix and flippers, right? And how many deals can they really do at a time? Even me, when I was doing 40, 50 a year, I was doing 3 to 5 at a time. Every month we pick up 3 to 5. Right. So how many would you really do at a time? And how much money do you really need? I mean, literally $600,000-$700,000. I think that's all we would have had needed at a time because we're selling, we're paying back, we're using velocity of money, right? So people say, how do you raise the money you raised? And I'm like, 1 investor at a time, just 1. You don't need. I only have 42 investors. That's it, guys. I don't have a ton. There's people way more than me, right? I only have 42 active investors, and I don't even go after more right now.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because we've got John on here. He's funded over 150 deals through private money, but current problem is 75% of that money is from 1 investor. What would you recommend to somebody like John? Obviously, probably get some more folks, or not rely on just 1 guy for 75%.
Yeah, no, that scares me a little bit. I started to get a little nervous when I read that because that 1 investor, something happens, God forbid he gets. And I use these terms, and I hate to say it, but I use it even with my lenders. God forbid he gets hit by a truck, and he's married, and his wife takes his money and doesn't want to do this anymore. I've seen it happen where people pass away and the wives have no interest in doing it. And you just lost your business. Your business was controlled by 1 person. The reason I shake when I hear that is because it brings me back my memories of hard money lenders pulling out of my deals like they're doing right now. So, and I say that, but there are a couple of good hard money lenders, so I'm not going to say all. I have 2 friends that are hard money lenders. They're very good. But I just don't like losing. Like I have 42 lenders right now, investors. Not all 42 have money right now to do my deals, right? So when I call them all, some don't have money right now. Some are waiting on deals to close out. They don't all have money to do deals. I don't need their money right now, but I will need them again when we start raising again for what we're doing next. But my thing is just go out and get more lenders. You don't need a ton, but go get a few more. All right, start spreading the love around to your lenders. Give them a taste. Let them see how you work. Let them get comfortable, and then you start spreading your deals out. Plus, I don't know what you're paying on your private money, but I remember when I was paying 12% on private money. or private, not hard money. Then I went down to 10, and that was a little bit of a fight. Then I went down a little bit more, then a little bit more. And I'll tell you what, I've lost some lenders because I started them off too high, and then I came down. Well, that's why I don't like raising money from like RIA events or any of those events, because those guys don't want to, they're not happy making 6, 7, 8% on their money. They're paying what every newbie's willing to pay them, 12, 14, 15% on their money. All these multifamily syndications, when they're doing debt and equity and paying them like close to 20%. How could I compete with that? I'm not going to put that stress on my shoulders to try to make a deal work.
No, that's true. And you brought up a good point, especially with one person. I remember I was going to a meeting one time with one of my lenders, and next thing you know, I set the meeting up for a Wednesday. I find out on a Monday that he died, and it was completely unexpected. I guess he had an adverse effect to some sort of a drug that he had injected into him from the doctor, and it was like a complete crazy anomaly. And yeah, he was in his early 60s, but still he was fine. So it's crazy. Yeah, I would not put things like that into just the hands of one individual here. So here, I know you touched on it a little bit. Here's something from Luke. So any concerns with the SEC in relation to one lender for one deal?
None at all with one lender, one deal. That's absolutely 100% legit. Just don't go out there and publicly ask for money don't market for money, no matter who tells you what. Don't even believe me. Check with your SEC attorney. I have 3 SEC attorneys I worked with before. I have one that I work with now, and they'll beat me up if I ever put anything on Facebook about. And I'm very careful. And the fund that we've done is a 506C, which is accredited investors, which you are allowed to advertise on Facebook. But there's still some regulations within that. So check with your SEC attorney. But one lender per one deal doesn't even fall into SEC guidelines, as long as you don't go out there and publicly market that for it.
Well, the other thing too, Dan, that I just want to mention, people are asking about the presentation. Like, I never ask or talk about any guarantees or anything like that on presentations. I talk about deals that we've done. And then what I do at the end is I set up, especially like from a virtual standpoint, if people aren't local, I set up a virtual, like a strategy session call to where we could do a Zoom at least, so I could see them face to face. And still, I don't talk about, there's no guarantees. What I'm looking for too, from a knowledge standpoint, I want them to at least know like the basics. They need to know what a note is. They need to know what real estate is. It's like, and you could probably talk about this a little bit more. It's like, you don't want to like come off as somebody like you're going to try and sell something foreign to them that they have no idea about, because that's how you could potentially get somebody pissed off at you, and they could say, hey, I didn't know this. They took advantage of me. And so I guess from a sophistication level, they need to know a little bit about the business so that nothing can come back on us saying that we took advantage.
Right, they should. Well, I only deal with accredited investors when I do my funds. So on this, on a one, let's not even talk about a fund because probably shouldn't anyway. So on this, on a one-to-one, you're absolutely right. You want to make sure they understand, and you want to make sure they understand they could lose their money. And that's why I said I like to ask them. I said, listen, have I lost money before for an investor? No. Have I lost money for myself? More than I care to admit, but I have. And if you haven't, you haven't been in the business long enough, right? You're going to lose money in this business. I guarantee you will. That's the guarantee I will make. You will lose money in this business if you get involved in it. Your hope is that you make way more than you lose, and generally, if you're good, you will, right? It'll offset the cost. But you want to just get with them, and you want to explain to them what happens if you don't pay them back. What happens if you pass away? What happens if you're married and you get divorced? Answer those questions, because believe it or not, if they're not thinking it right now, when they go home and they talk to their buddies at the bar and tell them what they're doing, first thing they're going to say is, "Yeah, that's a scam. You're going to get scammed. Bernie Madoff, he took everyone's money. That's what you're doing, right?" So you need to be in front of. They need to understand. And Jason, that was that was phenomenal. You said that. You don't want to deal with people that really don't have a clue of what they're doing. And I understand people don't know what a note is. They might not know what a mortgage is. But when you get on the phone with them, you can explain to them: do you have a house? Did you sell it into closing? Let me explain to you the difference in a mortgage and a note. We go even further. We teach I call it the 5. We talk about a mortgage, a note, a personal guarantee, a confession of judgment, and an assignment of rent. So we protect our lenders that way. We always talk about protecting your lenders that way. Until you get maybe once you get a great reputation with them, they don't care about the personal guarantees or anything. But why should you care about a personal guarantee? If you want me to invest in your deal, you don't want to guarantee it. So those are the questions I always ask. How much money are you putting in a deal? How much skin do you have in the game?
Right.
Now, if you have private lenders, I don't have to put skin in the game with my private lenders. The more they fund, they're happy they are. They want their money applied with us. But we also don't over leverage. We won't borrow more than 70% of the deal ever. Generally, it's more or less 60, 65%. So
is that ARV or is that as is value?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we also, even though we have the money, like they fund our deals in front, we stay in touch with them all the way through. Hey, look, this is the work we did on this. Well, if we're buying a note, this is the work we foreclosed on these assets. Here's the work that started on. We send them pictures. Communication is the strongest. I'm telling you what, if anything else, if you communicate, make them feel comfortable. We've invited them out to an event. We've actually done a screenplay of all the deals we had in a pool of notes we bought. Just a lot of people borrow money. They don't even communicate with their lenders what's going on. The lenders, you could be in a deal 3-4 months. If they don't hear anything from you, they start getting nervous, right? That's why even if I borrow money, right, and the lenders are getting paid monthly, I don't ACH in the beginning, ever. I write out, literally, as crazy as it sounds, we write out a check. Either I write it on, my bookkeeper writes it on, I sign it, and I put it in the mail, I send it to them. The psychology of getting a check in your hand after 2 or 3 months, you become a hero to them. And they start telling everybody at the party how great you are.
It is true. It is true. I absolutely love that. Oh yeah. Yep. He sends weekly updates to the investors. Good. Love seeing that.
That's great.
If anybody else has any questions, let us know. Hey, Dan, real quick, before we hop into another question here, where can folks get your book?
They can go right on Amazon, Passive to Prosperous. They'll get it there. Just really pay attention to my first chapter. It'll talk about my why I do what I do about passive income. And there's a lot in here about how I raise money and also how I do notes and all that stuff. But they can go right on Amazon and get it over there. It's been a bestseller. It's been great. I mean, it's selling a lot. Every month it sells a lot, especially with events. So
I'm going to put that up here on the Passive to Prosperous. Cool. Yeah, go check that out, guys. It's on Amazon. Any types of books, especially like that, from people that we have come on the show, I would highly recommend, highly encourage that you go and get that, because that's huge. There's a wealth of knowledge in there. Sorry for hijacking the comment section. Yeah, no problem.
Love it.
Let's see here. See, we've gone over a lot of the stuff. Oh, let's see here. Here, Mike's got the link here for the book.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
And that book, just all the sales in that book, we don't actually touch it. It's going to a platform we're building to financial literacy for youth around the world. We're putting a course together.
That's awesome.
So we don't book sales, and most of our online training sales go to that right now.
Wow.
So
Wow.
just what we want to get back to the legacy we want to live by. So we just feel like there's a lot of there's a big missing link in financial literacy for youth, and we want to definitely make sure that goes out.
No, I love that. I love that, Dan. That is great stuff there. So there's the link, guys. I put it's in the comment section. So I know you guys, that's a little bit of a jarbled link, but go click on that in the comment section and you are good to go to get Dan's book. Highly recommend it. Highly.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. So Dan, I know you're really big right now on cash flow stuff. So what would you use, like, for your private money nowadays? What are you mainly focusing on? Is it the note deals and doing something with the notes to get Dean Liu back? Maybe get them reperforming, or what's some of the stuff that you're doing with your cash?
I'm doing a lot of for acquisition with the money I raise. I'm buying pools of non-performing notes, first mortgages only, not seconds. I do buy pools of REOs, real estate owns. After banks will foreclose, I'll buy those vacant. I will use the money for direct with sellers, from distressed sellers. I'll buy from them as well. And we're doing tax deeds now, not as many liens, but just buying some tax deeds. We're buying some tax deed markets. But everything I do with that money is my strategy is always to create cash flow with it, right? Whether it's a borrow or workout, where we're different than most note investors. Most note investors will only buy an asset if somebody's there and it looks like they could do a borrow or workout. We want to do a borrow workout because we want to help people stay in their homes. But we're not willing to buy a note on a property we're not willing to own in our portfolio. And in our portfolio, we sell those properties to investors that want to build. And I'm not talking about active investors, right? People that want 65% on its rehab value. We're talking about investors around the world that are business owners that are truly passive investors. They're business owners, they're doctors. We have auto auctioneers right now. We have people in Israel, Canada. We have somebody now in Portugal investing with us. Where they can't receive those, they can't get those kind of returns in their market, and they don't want to just be passive investors as lenders. Some of our lenders have said, we love this, but you pay us back, and then we're out of a deal. We want to build our own portfolio, so we help them build their own portfolio of rental properties, and we'll sell them for cash or on seller financing. Most of the time, I'm selling them seller financing because if somebody comes with $100,000 cash and they want to buy an $80,000 property, they can only buy one property with cash. But if I take $20,000 down on a property, they can now buy 5 properties. So I just created 5 seller finance notes for myself. I just created $400,000 in net worth for them. So there's a lot that goes into that. So you got to give to get. So you got to help your investors out, and it helps me out because I don't really need the cash. I want the notes. I want the passive income coming in. I want to live that prosperous life.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's great. Let's see here. That was great. Mike, anything from you that you want to add or ask Dan before we start wrapping up here?
Well, I guess the other common thing, I mean, you've already kind of alluded it, is how many private money lenders do you need? And I guess from somebody just starting out, when we're saying, hey, don't go to RIAs and stuff. Let's just say I'm brand new, and we've talked about meetups. What would be the first step? I've just got done watching this YouTube video. I've got no private money lenders. I'm doing real estate. I'm coming across some pretty good stuff. What should I do right now?
Right now, you got to work on your elevator pitch. That's the first thing, right? Because when you meet somebody, what are you going to say? And I gave you my elevator pitch so you can mirror it to yourself to make it work for yourself. That's the first thing. And then I would get myself in organizations or events and start talking to people. So whatever your hobby is, I don't know if you're into one of my best students, one of my most successful students is into old cars, muscle cars. Nice. And I'll tell you what, they go to those muscle car events, her and her husband, and they scoop up a ton of private money. Those guys have money. Let me tell you, those people have money.
Oh yeah, they do.
And I love muscle cars. I would look like a fool going because I just like to drive them. I don't know. They still talk about engine blocks and I don't know. Just show me the gas pedal and I'll freaking drive the thing. I love cars, but I'm not fixing them. But these guys, they raise a lot of money. So you got to get in. I don't know what your hobby. Like me, I love wine, right? So I'll go to a wine club. I love boating, right? So, and I like fishing. So I took I was a vet. So I took veterans out on a fishing trip. So we did it for the senior community that is at the yacht club. So I paid for a fishing trip with them for the vets. It wasn't expensive. We took out 10 veterans on a fishing trip, and the veterans really they didn't have any money, right, to invest. But the people that chartered the boat and everything, they had money. And going out, coming in, we talked, and they became some of my investors, right? So they are not the active investors that are at your RIA events, right? So you have that. There's so many places. It depends if you're into hunting, if you're into shooting, if you're into whatever you're into. There's meetups for everything. Get into those. Get in a reading club, right? I can tell you so many places. I used to go, and every time I was in a big city, I would just sit at the bar at the big city. I would suck on one drink. It was literally like tonic water with a lime because I don't want to sit there and get drunk. And I would just sit there at the bar and talk to people. And I had great conversations like that. I got involved in high-end clubs. I would go to clubs. I would join. I would go to, you have those office spots where you rent an office space for a day. You go there and you sit out with your laptop. You talk to people. I'll talk to people at Starbucks. It doesn't matter. That's one way. Then the other way, like I'm telling you, is really, just go to your local, just type in whatever county you're in. Type in Chamber of Commerce in Davis County, whatever it is, and you'll see it there. And then just go to member directory. You'll find all the members. Now you're going to get their first names. You don't want to send invitations to their office. I know everyone here knows how to skip trace somewhat. You can go to whitepages.com for free. I think they'll give you up to like 200 names for $19. Find out their address, send them an invitation, invite them to something. Don't just say, come to my event so you can give me private money. Hey, you're a business owner. We're doing something. I'm bringing my own accountant on to do an event to talk about this SBA loans. Talking to my own accountant to talk about how to pay your kids as a business owner. Have you ever thought you could pay your kids so you don't have college bills? Come to this special event to learn from my accountant for free, and you treat them like 5-star. You have food, you have drinks, and you really treat them good. You don't send a yellow letter. You don't send a postcard. You send a wedding-style invitation. So you just and this is all trial and error, guys. This is how we did this. There's no rule book on this, but we didn't promise everything. We didn't send anything online about investing in deals because that you're not supposed to do. We just invited to an event where we provided. Whenever you have an event and you provide like this, you're doing this event, Jason. You're not making money off this, right? You're providing content. By providing content, people are looking at you and Mike as experts. So now now people want to join you in your group or your mentorship, or they bring you deals and they want you to partner on deals with them. There's always something because you guys give a ton of content for free to people. Where back in the day we had to pay to go to an event. This is free. So by you giving content, people are going to reach out to you. So I just want you to think along those lines, like when you're raising private money.
I like that you said the trial and error, that this is all a trial and error thing. And and then you brought up the YouTube, like anything you really need to learn, you can find out at least the very basics of it by joining somebody like us on YouTube or just finding somebody. And then when it comes to the point where, hey, I want to dive deep into this, like you said, I need to invest. I need to invest into this because I want to learn more. I can only go so far with what I find on YouTube. So I finally found the people. Hey, these are the guys that take me there. Or this is the gal that take me there. Whoever it is, let me show them how much I value their knowledge by investing with them, so they'll teach me more.
Exactly. I like the fast track. Like I said, I'm very impatient. I like to find the best of who's doing what I want to do and hire them. Right. Mm-hmm. If I want to run a triathlon, I'm not gonna hire somebody that doesn't run triathlons. I'm gonna find someone that does a triathlon. I'm gonna pay them to, because it's an investment in myself.
Right.
I don't think any of this stuff is a cost. I think of everything as an investment. So
here's a good question that came in from Luke. Are you using companies like Quest to help lenders put their IRA and 401k money to work for you?
100%. And I love Quest too. They're one of my companies. I use a couple companies, but yeah, Quest is yep. So think about it. When you teach them about using a solo 401k, a self-directed IRA, a Coverdell, a health savings account, any of those features. Now insurance. This is the next big one. I wish I knew about this when I was younger. These insurance policies that you could use to be the bank. But yeah. So what you do is you set up an event, and they'll jump on a webinar with you and help and explain it to your audience. So all you are is a connector. You don't have to be the expert. You just have to connect people. And Quest is not, or any of these custodians are not going to tell your people what to invest in. They can't legally. Right. We're just going to tell them that you can do this. You can put your money in here. It could be tax-free or tax-deferred. They're going to tell them how to do it. Then your investors, your potential investors, if they believe in it, which they will, they're going to believe in it. They're going to set up an account. Once they set up an account, they move their $250,000 to one of these custodians. Now the money's sitting there making 0% interest. They need to invest it somewhere. So now you're the expert. They're going to invest with you. Shame on you if they don't. I mean, you know, anyone that you set up an account, any one of my students that sets up an account for somebody, helps somebody set up their account, that doesn't get that money invested back into them, shame on them.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a good question. Not sure if you're, I'm not sure if this is in the book or not, but what does the wedding style invitation say? Could I find that in the book?
That wouldn't be in the book. The wedding style invitation, basically, guys, you can go, I would tell you like this, go to Google, do a search for financial meeting invitations and look at all of them. There's a ton of them. Pick one out that meets your colors. It's going to say, you know, whatever it is. John is presenting how to pay your kids to save on college education, or John is presenting how to, you know, how to plan for retirement by being the bank. That's it. You're not putting your deal on there. Come Wednesday at 6 o'clock, you know, call in for comfort, make them RSVP. If you have 8 people already RSVP'd, sorry, Mrs. Smith, this event is already taken. Come to the next event. You know, we have another one next Tuesday. You know, don't ever be scared of this, and keep running. Stay consistent. Because I used to do it with a mail house, so they would generate 300 to 500 of those a week for me, and we'd send them out. Stay consistent. Even if I was on vacation, I didn't do an event, we would tell them we were booked. We can have you come in next Tuesday or Tuesday after or Wednesday after. What works best for you? Just stay consistent. If they see you're consistent, they'll have a lot of faith in you. But just go on Google. The easiest way to do is go on Google, type in financial meeting invitations, and look at what you see there. See what you like. Like I said, this is the stuff that's not rocket science. This is stuff that there's no right or wrong answer. Whatever invitation fits what you do is perfect.
And I know John here has been asking some really good questions. So thanks, John. So being scared of the SEC. I guess first thing is get somebody that's an attorney that's familiar with the SEC. And there should not be a reason why you should be scared of the SEC as long as you've got an attorney that's advising you on the
no,
right.
But I agree. You should be scared of the SEC, which is why he should have the attorney, right? Because
right.
And they don't treat it like a business because they think of an attorney as a cost. I pay my SEC attorney a lot of money, but you know what? I make so much more because I pay them a lot of money, and they'll tell me everything I do. I kind of run by them, and I pay them right for their time because they're the expert, right? I treat this like a business, and I want to make sure I'm protecting my investors, right? So you should be. It's great that you're scared because if you're a cavalier out there and you're just posting on Facebook, "Hey, fund my deal," well, those are the people that aren't scared, and those are the people that are going to get themselves either in trouble or they're going to jam up this industry where the government's going to overregulate us like they did with Dodd-Frank, right? So I honor you that you are scared and you're taking the steps. But Jason's 100% right. Hire an SEC attorney, and I'm sure you know some SEC attorneys, Jason. If John doesn't know, give him some attorneys. If not, I'm more than happy to share a couple attorneys that we've used. You can use them too. Anytime you want any referrals for who I have, I'm more than happy to share them with you. So.
That's awesome. And Dan's got a group on Facebook. Where can they connect with you? What's your group called on Facebook so people can know?
On Facebook, it's Become a Real Estate Investor with Dan Zatofsky. They just have to answer the 3 questions to get in. They're easy questions. We just want to make sure that they're not there to be a taker, they're there to be a giver. So we want people content. So it's Become a Real Estate Investor with Dan Zatofsky, or our YouTube page is not huge, not as big as yours yet, but we started moving some videos there because I feel like when our stuff is on Facebook, it gets dropped way down and people keep asking me for those videos.
I know.
My marketing team's starting to move some of my videos over, and we have a decent amount of followers now. We're getting up there. But my YouTube page is the Zatofsky Capital Management right now.
Cool. So, here, I'll put that in so folks know.
Yeah, they can go to. And we're going to be moving a lot more videos there. We do a lot of free videos there, a lot of education. We try to put a lot between the free group page of Zatofsky Capital, Become a Real Estate Investor with Dan Zatofsky, and the YouTube page. Try to put as much free content as we could there for people, so they can get started. We've done. In fact, we did a video on showing people how to actually use Chamber of Commerce to find potential private lenders.
Gotcha.
We have so much requests for people to learn how to find private lenders. We actually, because I generate my own leads for private lenders, my own potential private lenders in the market. We've started. People have hit us up. We've actually just started, not to make money. I just give the money to my team. We've actually started building lists for people in certain counties that want lenders.
Is that right there? Your YouTube page?
Yep.
Okay. Cool. So I just want to make sure people know where to find your content on YouTube as well. But yeah, that's awesome. We love putting this stuff out on YouTube. Just creating channel. We also put it here. This is a good question. I know, Dan, why don't you put on your fortune teller hat?
Yes.
And let's see what you have. I know, I'm just joking, Luke. I'm just joking. So what's Dan's prediction for the future of the market given? Dan kind of alluded to it at the beginning with 2021, but would love to know, do you have anything else to add to that one?
No, I just say I think we're going to see a ton of short sales coming because of what the banks are doing with the mortgage industry, like deferments on mortgages. I think we're going to see a lot of inventory. Put it that way. That's where I see it going. I don't think this has anything to do with the economy. I think it's a situational pandemic. I don't really, I don't know. Maybe I'm cavalier with this. I just don't give a crap about what's going on. I really don't. I mean, I just go about my business and I keep doing it. And I hate what I see out there. I hate the sheep out there what they're talking about with COVID and all of that stuff right now.
We're on the same page, Dan.
Okay, cool. I tread lightly when I say that stuff, but I don't care. I just keep doing my business. I do it. I've worked harder in the last 2 months than I probably worked in the last 10 years because I know what's coming, right? I know that there's opportunity, great opportunity. I don't run SCAD. I play offense. I don't play defense. You know, the last time I played defense was a linebacker in college. That was it. I don't play defense in this business. I go out there and I chase money. I chase deals. I don't sit there and hoard my money because I'm scared that the economy is going to crash. I want to be cashed up to buy more, right? You know, in any economy, right? I just buy right. That's it. So I take care of my investors. I take care of my lenders, and I cost average. But that's what I think, right? And well, talking to the asset managers, I know what's coming, correct? Because they're already seeing the numbers starting to skew, right? So I know that's coming. I know that banks are telling people, well, the government's telling people you don't have to pay your mortgage for 3 months, but come month 4, that payment is all due.
Yeah, it's a big balloon.
Unless they keep doing bailouts. But to do bailouts, you got to keep printing money. If you keep printing money, the value of the dollar goes down to 0. So we're in another situation. So I would just tell you, just be ready, be smart. Don't sit on your butt watching Netflix right now. Don't listen to the media. Be smart. Plan for the next quarter. Plan for the end of the year. And I'm telling you, like I said before, Michael's there's going to be a bloodbath out there in real estate. It really is. And the people who have cash are ready to move quick are the people who are going to take advantage. People that don't are going to be like me in 2009, where I was watching these deals just flow through and I couldn't do anything about it because I didn't have private money back then. Hard money lenders weren't lending me money. Banks weren't doing anything. And I could have bought multifamilies at 20 cents on the dollar. Can you imagine?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because it's not anybody paying attention to what's going on and has seen what happened in the past, or even if they haven't seen it, just going on Google and looking, hey, what happened in 2009? Oh, wow. So this is more than likely what's going to happen in 2020, 2021. So maybe I should be prepared by because I wanted to be where, you know, I saw these investors cashing out, making tons of money, buying these deeply discounted properties and then or flipping them and doing whatever. Like I wanted to do that, but I had no clue. Well, now I can see it coming. Like it should be. If you don't know, go to Google and just what happened in 2009. Watch the movie The Big Short. Figure out what happened.
That's our business. Yeah, The Big Short was our business. The Nope, that's our business. That's exactly. I watched that over and over again. But I remember in 2012 and 13, I was like, man, if I just had cash I talk about that story before this pandemic happened. I was like, man, if I could have had cash back in 2009, what I could have done. And now I'm just gearing up because we're going to be there. So that's my big genie, my plan.
Yeah,
I don't know if you're right.
Nice. Well, hey, everybody that's on right now, I know it's delayed, but what'd you guys all think of Dan? Big round of applause here for him. He did an awesome job, right?
Yeah.
This is a great show. Dan, how could people, I know we've got Zatofsky Capital Management as your YouTube channel, and then we also have you on your Facebook group, which is, you fill that up with really great content as well. Guys, to get information nowadays is so easy. When I was first getting started, this stuff wasn't even available. YouTube was just barely scratching. Facebook was just barely getting going. LinkedIn was just barely getting going. So yeah, we've got a lot of people. Donald, thank you. Luke, love Big Dan. Great job from Paul, John, Marie. Hey, Marie. Pamela. Hey, Pamela. So yeah, awesome stuff. Any other, do you have a website you want to share at all, Dan?
Well, I do give away, when I speak at events, I give away stuff for free. So I'll give away my cheat sheet. It's, they can go to passivewealthacademy.com/42K. If you want to put that up there for them, passivewealthacademy.com/42K. I always like to give something for free when I'm at an event speaking. Since I'm not speaking, as I can't print it out and give it to you here, they can just download it. We personally wrote this ourselves. They can grab it. But yeah, we're not putting anything out here to sell anybody or anything like that. I just want to give free content for people.
Passivewealthacademy.com/40K.
42K, 42K.
42K.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Could you imagine if mentors could get back on YouTube 10 years ago and do a live and just say, hey, Dan, hey, Jason, you guys had some questions? Just here, I'm going to do a YouTube live and you can ask me whatever you want.
Oh man, I would, God, what, you know how people ask like, how much is your training? And I'm like, a lot less expensive than your first mistake. If I could have got guys like you and Jason, like to say, hey, I have this deal, I don't know what to do. Can I partner with you on it? You don't have to pay me anything. Just teach me. If I don't have any money, right? Or if I have money, see, I'm the type that I just want to invest to fast track myself, right? From the experts. But you can't do that. Like we didn't have that stuff back then. So people have it now. But I think the problem is for most people, it's too easy to get this information that they don't put the work in. They just really get lazy, right? On like raising money. Like they really get lazy on raising money. It's not hard. So they're just doing what everyone else is doing, just putting a deal on Facebook and saying, who wants to fund my deal and get a guaranteed return? And if anyone's scared of the SEC, you should be with that. They have a whole department that handles those low-hanging fruits. So this is great. You guys are doing an amazing job here, putting out a ton. I watch your that's why I was excited, to be honest, because I got asked to be on a lot of shows, and a lot of them I will say no, because I just don't believe what they're, what their reasoning is for what they're doing it. They're in it for the wrong reason. I don't believe they're really giving back to community. But you guys, I watch your stuff. You guys have been giving back some great content. So.
That means a lot.
I'm glad you came on. Yeah, you came on and brought our audience and our community an awesome amount of value. And again, that's Jason. That's why we have the channel. So thank you for doing that.
No, my pleasure, man. My pleasure.
Yeah, thanks for coming on today, Dan. That it really means a lot. You shared a ton. I know we went over our time by quite a bit, but you shared a ton of value with our folks today. So thank you so much for being here.
Well, there's just so much info out there. I just wanted to give them the strong points that they can get off this today and put something together tonight and start working on it. And hopefully in a couple of days have a package together to start working at.
Boom.
Yeah, with everything that you gave, there should be the quick elevator pitch. You've got massivewealthacademy.com there. You've got that. They could get your book. There's so much that was shared from this. This could easily, I don't think people understand this video alone could be turned into, something that could be sold, but it's right here. We've got it on YouTube. This is just a way that we could add value to our community. And I know people are going through a difficult time right now. Don't have that victim mentality right now. You could go out there, you can make whatever you want happen for yourself. You just have, like Dan, you got to know your why. Once you've got that identified, you could literally do anything you want.
I love it.
Thank you for your time, Dan. Any parting words?
Just like you said it all, right? Don't have the victim mentality. Just take the world by the balls, as they say. Fail forward. Don't be scared to fail. Just keep going forward and perfecting your craft. That's it.
There you go.
Awesome. Well, thanks. We'll see you guys. Have a great weekend. We'll see you guys on Monday with some more content. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we're putting out stuff. So if you have any questions or anything, definitely let us know. Make sure you become a channel subscriber. Make sure you hit the thumbs up button and also hit that notification bell so that you get notified of whenever we drop a brand new video. So we will talk to you soon, guys. Have a great weekend. Bye now.
Take care. Bye-bye.